There in high school, you started driving, and you started driving something that became affectionately known as the
Mm-hmm.
Twinkie Mobile.
Yes.
So I would love for you to describe the interior of that car as the semester would go on. I want to know what it looked like in your car.
Well, I like to haul things. I like to take stuff and move it from point A to point B.
Hello, Megan.
Hello, Michelle.
Welcome to Sisters.
Sisters.
There were never such devoted
Sisters.
Woo! I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm happy to be with you too.
All right. Well, I like to talk all about your neurospicy, neurodiverse,
That's right.
ADHD brain of yours.
Mhm.
And we like to call it Rosie's brain.
Right.
'Cause
Have we told people?
I think we might have, but we should probably talk about it again a little bit, I
Probably.
think. So really, it all stems back to Josh, my son, and
Mhm.
you being worried about being an aunt and
Yeah.
what you would be called,
Mhm.
because you didn't want to be called Aunt Megan.
I don't know. Yeah, just something about it sounded weird.
And your middle name is Rose, and I used to call you Rose all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Periodically. I don't know. I gave you lots of names, but that was a nice one I gave you. No. We were always pretty kind to each other, actually, I would say.
We were.
But then Rosie came out. How did Rosie?
It just sounded cute coming from a little kid's mouth in my mind. It's like, oh, I'll be Rosie. And it just felt like a name.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
is
I
a
feel
name,
like
but
well, I feel like it's also kind of a softer version of you, which is sort of lovely.
yeah.
And I think it's just stuck. And so it's come in useful and handy for all the nephews.
It also is the name of my younger inner child. So Rosie is the 4-year-old version of me. And then, so there's Rosie, and then there is Tallulah Jones. She's the middle school.
Oh, wow. Wow. I don't think I've ever heard this before. Tallulah Jones.
I maybe haven't.
I missed this one.
I think I've never told you that before, actually.
Wow. Okay, we're going to have to dig into that one at some point. Okay, there's Rosie, Tallulah Jones. Anybody else in there?
And then just Megan.
Oh, okay.
Megan.
All right. Well, that's not as interesting, but okay.
No.
I love it. I love it. So Rosie's brain, I think we kind of decided, is my singular obsession in life to figure out and understand. And it always has been. I've always been fascinated by your brain. And we usually in this podcast, I usually bring up some story or something to kind of prompt you, and we talk about it for a little while. And then I like to dig into that Rosie's brain of yours and see if I can get you to articulate what you're thinking or seeing or visualizing. That's always debatable, but we do our best on that one, right?
We try, yeah.
Yeah, and you're so good about it. And then we look at strategies sometimes if there's something that's hard and how you're handling that, and then kind of invite our community to give some feedback as well. So I have a very good one today, I think.
Ooh.
There in high school, you started driving.
Mm-hmm.
And you started driving something that became affectionately known as the Twinkie Mobile.
Yes.
Okay, so can you describe the Twinkie Mobile?
Yes. It was an... She's going to take a sip of her tea now.
Mm-hmm.
The Twinkie Mobile was a 1985 Dodge Caravan.
Oh, yeah.
And it was tan on the outside, but it
kind of yellowish tan.
Well, let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
It was tan on the outside, but the sun had baked it for so long that it had kind of turned this more yellow color.
Oh.
And there was a girl I went to high school with who we always would joke with each other, because if you, when you put her, and I was very, very, very pale because I burned very easily. Everyone else was tan and Look, they had just got off a yacht and I was just not. And so we would always joke with each other because she's like, she was very, very dark and I was very, very light. And so she would say like we were a negative of each other. Like if you took a picture of us and you made a negative, like we would be each other's skin tone. And so one day, she just was cracking me up and she's like, Megan, your car is like a Twinkie Mobile and you're the white cream filling. and it cracked me up so much. But the funnier thing about it was that somebody in band heard that joke and then proceeded to tell other people. And then it just became a thing that was called the Twinkie Mobile.
So it was known.
Yes.
I thought that was your little name for it. I didn't know others called.
Oh, no. It was no, everybody in band knew that it was the Twinkie Mobile and that it was mine.
So our brother had the Smurf, which was a
76 Toyota Corolla.
Yeah. And I had a green Toyota hatchback. And our cars were sort of infamous in our family. So my car, actually, it was an old Toyota. And I found out they only had 7 keys because nobody steals things in Japan, or didn't used to. There were only 7 different types of key. And so one of our friends figured this out. And one day I was over at our friend Erin's house and I all of a sudden hear my car starting. And I go out. And one of her brother's friends also had a Toyota, and his key opened my car and started my car.
What?
I know.
No.
And this car was so old that when I would turn the corner, the keys would fly out of the ignition. And I would have to search. It was a standard transmission. So, I would have to search on the ground to find the keys to be able to turn the car off.
Oh, God.
And then you got the Twinkie Mobile. And this, I'm thinking you driving a caravan as a high school student, that our parents weren't really thinking this through. A. But 2, I mean, hopefully, right? But there's a lot of room in that car.
I was so naive, Michelle. I had no clue. It never occurred to me to do anything other than drive from point A to point B. I was clueless.
So I would love for you to describe the interior of that car as the semester would go on. I want to know what it looked like in your car.
Oh, in my car.
Huh.
I don't really have as much of a memory of inside my car. I have a memory of my car now.
Yeah, tell me your car now.
Well, I like to haul things. I like to take stuff and move it from point A to point B.
And then back?
And sometimes back. And then sometimes I forget it's there. First of all, I love having my dogs and my animals in the car with me. So there's pet hair everywhere. And there's like little nose smooshes all over the window. There's donations that need to still be taken in. There's receipts everywhere. Probably a can of soda that I need to throw out. I will tell you, I know exactly what's in the center console, I think, is I just saw it yesterday, is that there's some grape jelly. Totally gonna out myself here. There are some curtain shower rings
with the grape jelly. Is the grape jelly open or just?
No, it's just a little grape jelly packet.
Oh, like you would get at McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some grape jelly packets, some shower curtain rings, as one would have.
One would, of course.
I mean, of course.
I always have my shower curtain rings next to my grape jelly and a center console of the car.
Everybody?
I mean, clearly.
I have a lot of stuff. It's interesting because like there are times when I see it and I recognize that I got to do something about that. And then I forget it as soon as I've walked away from my car.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking you this is on the Google, that's what this whole like series of podcasts is about, is symptoms. Like do you love somebody who might have ADHD? And so I didn't tell you this was the title for the first few, but if you love it was like, I typed in, how do you know if you love someone who might have ADHD? And messy car
Ah!
was one of them. And I was wondering.
Vindication! Vindication!
So I'm kind of wondering if we can like dig in just a little bit about this, because I feel like you are so attentive to technology and mechanical things in certain ways,
Mhm.
right? You care a lot about your tools, you're a woodworker, you do all these things. But there's this, I don't know. I'm curious what happens. Is it just an extension of the house?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a huge extension of the house. It's just my house on wheels. I have an incredible attention to detail, and that does not include cleaning. I mean,
Yeah.
the detail that
But I think so many of us can relate to that. I mean, I really do. Like, I don't have a clean car. I don't have
yeah.
grape jelly in my console, but
Wait,
I def
you don't have shower curtain rings in your car? How Michelle, how dare you? I have a
What's
few
funny is
extra, I can send them to you.
I might. Yeah, I might in the back. I just cleaned out a bunch of stuff from my shed that I'm taking to donation tomorrow.
It's interesting because it's all of those deferred tasks that I haven't completed. So
Oh.
those shower curtain
Yeah.
rings were gonna go into my current bathroom because I was like, "Oh, you guys had extra ones that you weren't using, so then I took them from your house, and then I was gonna use them in this place." But then they
Uh-huh.
were black, and everything else in the bathroom was chrome, and so I've literally been wrestling with the fact, like, should I just use the black ones with all of the chrome? Like, I've wrestled with it for quite a long time, Michelle, and it has
It's a
stressed
big
me out.
decision. It's
It
a big
is.
decision. Yeah.
And the worst part of it is that those ones were free, so I could have just put them in there. I don't ever see the guest bathroom, but just the simple fact of putting them in, I just couldn't. So they're in my car. You know the Sunday basket I was telling you about a few podcasts
Yeah.
ago? I just need a
Yeah.
Sunday basket for my car,
And the
you
Sunday
know?
basket was like you put all the papers and everything or decisions you
You
have to
put all
make
your decisions in a box. I think that's a great way to describe it. You put all your decisions in a box.
and then just only deal with them on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you need like a whole different day for your car, or should the car be part of Sunday?
The car should probably be part of Sunday. I used to do this. Well,
Mm,
not used to, but when things would get really bad in my
mhm.
car, I would take a plastic bag and I would just grab everything possible, trash, anything that's regular, like everything would go into the bag, and then I would go through the bag. So that's basically what I was doing was a Sunday basket, but I didn't do it any regularity. I didn't even think what I'm doing in my home, I should also do in my car.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. And so when you're thinking about your car, the other thing I think of in your car, in addition to sort of clutter or whatnot potentially, is there's something on your steering wheel. And I was curious about that. I wanted to know, you have a like a
I have
slap
a slap
bracelet, I
bracelet.
think,
Yeah.
but it's got
Reversible sequins.
yeah, so you know how they have those pillows where you can like rub up and down and it changes color or something, right? Because of the sequins flipping.
Mhm.
So what is that about? Is it just decoration or is there more to it?
No, that one is for sure a strategy to keep me grounded because it allows me
Mm.
to stay present when I'm driving. Because I think a big part of
Mm.
why things are also kind of messy is that there's a decision that needs to be made, and I'm stressed out because I'm making sure I'm going to be there on time. So I don't want to make that decision right then and there because I'm already worried about time. And so I'm just trying to get somewhere. And
Mm.
the more stressed out I get, the more I need the like little slap bracelet to play with.
To keep you present.
Yeah, I think we all do this where you get on autopilot,
Yeah.
but autopilot's really easy for me. Like it's and not even
Mm.
just autopilot, it's more just like going off and veering into my own little world is really easy.
Mm.
And so having something to keep reminding me like, "Megan, stay here. You are driving a car."
Mm.
And yeah, that's why I have that.
That's so cool though that you've like figured out that strategy for that.
Yeah. We were
Interesting.
going through a lot of different things when I got my job at the boneyard at the air maintenance and regeneration group. We were trying to find these different things I could use, and that was one of them. Like, wow, those slap bracelets, or no, she was saying sequins. My therapist was saying sequins, and then I was looking up things with sequins, and I was like, oh my god, they have slap bracelets. So then my inner Tallulah Jones, she got excited because she was like, slap bracelets, yes. And then,
That's
Rosie
your
was
middle schooler, you.
and Rosie was
Mhm.
excited. Little Rosie was excited because it had sparkles on it, so it was like a perfect combination.
So does the mess in your car distract you at all or not at all?
No, not at all.
Why is that? Can we like dig into that a little bit? Like what?
Sure. I think, well, okay, I'm imagining my car when it's clean,
Mm,
and as soon as it gets slightly dirty, then I'm distracted because
mm,
everything is so beautiful and pristine. And there's like this one thing that's just very glaring at me.
mm,
And it makes me really sad to spend money. And then instantly, as I'm leaving the car wash, I watch dust just falling onto my console.
mm.
And I'm just like, well, so what's the point of this? This is ridiculous. Like, why do I need to do it anyways? Because I'm just wasting money and I'm wasting time. Plus, also remembering to go to the car wash is also a challenge. So there's that too.
There's that too.
There's there's a litany of reasons why like
Well,
like my
I remember you saying at one point, like, why am I going to wash my dishes? I just have to wash them again tomorrow.
yeah.
And I feel like you did come up with a strategy for that, but I can't remember what it is now.
Well, the strategy for that one was that every dish that I had to wash was a reminder that I had made a good decision and I ate at home.
Mm,
It was a more healthful decision. It was that every time it's like, yes, I get to wash a dish now because look at how much I cooked at home.
that makes sense.
The last time we talked about cooking, I don't like to cook. And so for me to be able to visually see, look, you cooked and
Mm,
you can see it with all the dishes that are laid out.
that's so cool. Yeah, I didn't think about it that way, but that makes sense. I think when you think about your car, that's also kind of a health thing, though, right?
A health thing? Say more.
Well, like if you don't take care of it, you can mold can grow and things can get
Oh.
in that aren't necessarily healthy for you, so or the pets.
I hadn't thought about that.
Sorry. Adding to your stressors.
I mean, I worry about chicken bacteria, but I don't worry about that. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Just hadn't even occurred to me.
I know. Well, it occurred to me when I was thinking I had cleaned out someone's car and they had left something, something had spilled and they just didn't see it because they hadn't been cleaning regularly. And it had some kind of like milk in it or something.
Ooh.
And yeah, there was mold growing. And I was like, oh my
No.
gosh, like that's such a health hazard. So anyway, I
What
just
I
was
will
thinking,
say is that I never leave food in my car.
oh, that's good.
Like,
Yeah,
I
just
might
jelly.
eat in my car, but, and I might have little crumbs here and there, but I always throw that's, like, the one thing I do. I always throw my trash away, and I don't think I've spilled in my car for the most part is water.
Yeah, you're such a good water drinker.
Oh my god, yeah. It might be a
Ah.
problem. But, yeah, I don't have an issue with that per se. My bigger issue is just the dirt component.
Mm,
The dirt and probably the dog hair
yeah.
mail. That was the thing. It's like our
Your
mailbox
mailbox. Yeah.
is located, it's a community mailbox. So it's located
Mm,
away. So you usually would get that, put it in your car and then take it to the house. And I would process my mail a lot of times in the car.
mm.
And yes, I got through it, but then the mail stuck would lay in my car and I would forget to take it in with me. So I'm thinking
Interesting.
that this idea of taking it all and deferring it till Sunday actually at least gets it into the house. Whereas
Yeah.
before, I mean, I've seen Brian, he'll put his feet on certain pieces of mail that I know that I need for something. And I'm just like, after a while, I think, well, oh, well, it's just going to be dirty. But it's my fault. Like, I left it there. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So the car is definitely a challenge.
100%. Yes.
And so have you tried strategies with it before, or have you just kind of said, well, there's enough other things?
Oh, I mean, I got one of those trunk organizers that's just basically
Hmm.
a giant box. It's not very
Mhm.
organizational. I've tried there's organizers that you can attach to the side of the chair. I've tried a trash can, and I have the trash can still, but
Mhm.
there's so much stuff in my car cuz I have to take stuff back that it's pushing the trash can up against it so the trash can doesn't work. I've tried like little slots that you put inside your seat. Like I've tried a lot of different things. They don't make cars, first of all, I think for women,
Mm,
because where do you put your purse?
true. True.
Most females
Preach.
and people who have bags
Mm-hmm.
that are even not females, they have bags. And
Yep.
so where do you put them?
I always put mine either in the seat beside me, which doesn't help if you have somebody with you, or I put it up behind my feet on the ground, on the floor where my feet are.
But isn't that potentially dangerous? Because if you stop, like it can get lodged and potentially in your pedals.
Huh. I only use one foot for the pedals, so the other one's kind of bracing it.
I just always leave my bags open and I know that I drop stuff all the time. And so I could just see everything. Sometimes I do put it by my feet. You're right.
No, I mean, I'm just saying I don't think it's a good solution. I'm just saying
Yeah.
you're right that it's absolutely, there is no place for it.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
clearly made by people who don't carry bags. And I'm not
Right.
just going to say men, because like, I don't know. I don't want to be sexist about that. It's just, they just don't think about the fact that like, hey, I got a bag
Yeah.
I'm carrying with me.
Yeah.
And
And a bunch of people I'm carrying around too.
right. And so like I'm always, driving Brian around and it's fine. Like I can have things in my passenger seat when he's not there, but on the weekends, I don't have a place for that. And so
Mm.
it's so much more stressful to figure out like where do I put my purse and where do I put Daisy's leash and where do I put Daisy? I may or may not put her in the back seat. I don't know. So, I get okay.
Daisy the pug.
Okay,
Little
so
Daisy the pug. So cute.
Daisy, the little pugster, she gets super anxious when we're driving. And I
Mm.
have a little booster for her in the back.
Mhm.
And she's gotten you heard her the other day when I was coming back from the beach.
Yeah.
Just she goes nuts. It's like barking like a crazy well, she's a dog, so she's barking like a dog. But but she just gets so stressed out with certain people and anybody wearing a hat. So I started putting her on my lap when we were like
Mm.
on my just kind of in between the car door and my leg. I have like a little harness thing that I have a little clip.
Yeah.
So she's buckled in and she just chills on my leg while we drive.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's very calming, actually. I really do enjoy.
Does it help you with your attentiveness?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because she's just like a little weighted blanket.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. So it's interesting you were saying before that cleaning your car actually causes distractions the minute you notice something
Yeah.
isn't clean.
'Cause
And so is it better to keep it kind of like completely messy so it's all a wash almost?
I kind of feel that way. It's so strange because there's like this weird dichotomy about me. So on one hand, I'm cooking and I can have complete overstimulation. But then on the other hand, if I go to a Starbucks, for instance, or to some loud cafe place, then I get so overstimulated to the point where it kind of calms my brain down and I can get work done.
I remember you saying that about New York.
Yeah.
When you went and moved there, because we had, always lived in Tucson, which is a relatively small town. I mean, it's 1 million people, but it still acts and operates pretty small town like.
It's a quieter town. Yeah.
Quieter town for sure. And then you went to New York City, which is just full of noises and craziness and awesomeness and, lights and, all of this. And I remember you saying I'm like calm for the first time.
Mm-hmm. And so maybe that's, part of the issue with, we were talking about cooking last week, and maybe that's part of the issue with cooking is that I don't have enough stimulation, or one part of the stimulation is just so overwhelming versus all the rest of them. Because there are certain parts of New York that I avoid. Like I would always avoid Times Square because there was just certain parts of it that were just way too overstimulating. But I feel like for my car, if everything is clean, like the windshield's completely clean, and then a speck gets on it or like some dust gets on it or some dirt, whatever, then I'm noticing that one little thing. But if there's dirt all over, well, okay, it kind of just becomes part of the car and I don't get as distracted as easily.
That's fascinating. So like actually having a dirty car might be a strategy for being safe in the car.
I mean, it might be. Yes. We're going to go with yes. See, Mom, it's because I'm being safe. That's why my car is dirty.
Oh my gosh.
No, I mean, I I think there's something to that because it is really easy for me to get distracted.
Yeah.
And
It's a giant piece of machinery that can kill you or others,
yeah.
right? So it's important to be able to pay attention. I think it's interesting to look at how many things you have to decide and pay attention to when you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a much higher rate. I was just learning about with my son, one of the therapists we were talking to was saying that specializes in ADHD was saying that there's just a much higher incident of people with ADHD getting in accidents.
Mm.
And I thought that just made so much sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's so easy to get distracted on the road.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's so
And
easy
when,
to get distracted in the car. There's
yeah,
certain
well, it's
oh.
easy for you to get distracted in your living room. So, right? I mean,
That's
or
true.
anywhere. So it's
Well,
like,
and this is one of the challenges I have that if there's anything with like plastic or some sort of a mirrored based, shiny chrome or anything like that, especially in
mm,
Arizona where the sun's out and it's reflecting the light, the whole joke of like squirrel, something shiny.
yeah.
It's the same thing is that if a lot of cars have chrome in them and
Mm,
then the sun hits it a certain way and then it's creating a shadow or it's not shadow, it's creating whatever that thing is, Michelle. It's creating a
reflection.
reflection on the wall. Yeah. And then like the reflection's moving and I'm like, wait, what's happening? Where's that coming from? And I'm trying to
You're like,
find it. Like, where's the reflection coming from? And I'm like trying to put my hand over certain parts and then I finally find it. And I
you know what
literally
I'm visualizing right now? Like, as you're saying that, when you used to like use the laser pointer with Garfunkel, the cat.
Yep.
When he was a baby. That's so funny. I'm just thinking of you like a little cat going
It's
like,
true.
oh, trying to find the yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I tend to carry at least a small towel in my car at all times
Mm,
so that I can then put it over whatever the shiny thing is. Otherwise, I have
mm,
to have my hand over it, so then my hand is no longer free.
right.
So it's whew. And then if someone's like, so if Brian's sitting next to me and his phone is on his lap and the sun is
Mm,
hitting it just right, like I have to remind him, like, hey, can you put it over? And it just makes it really hard. Like you have to advocate for yourself all the time when you're in the car.
wow. And what about music? Is that okay for you or
No, not anymore. I have
interesting?
found that music is one of the most distracting things for me. Oddly
Huh.
enough, I can listen to a podcast. And
Okay.
it's weird cuz like podcasts they do kind of keep me on a linear narrative
Mhm.
and help me to kind of stay active and stay present.
Mhm.
But yeah, music, oh man, I just start thinking about so many other things when I'm listening to
Hmm.
music.
Because it takes you to a time and place or it
It can. It also just gets my body going so excited, like especially if it's good music. It's like it just
Oh.
gets me wanting to dance and do all these things, and then like that is just not. It's fun, but I know it's not the safest thing for me to do. Like the whole carpool karaoke is really
Yeah.
not safe
No,
at
no, I
all.
always thought that. I thought, "What are you doing?" I remember I had a family member call me from the car with their, FaceTiming me, and I just hung up on him because
Yeah.
I was so worried, and I felt bad. I don't think she was very happy with me, but I thought, "Oh my god, you have kids in your car. Stop right now." And I
Yeah.
just hung up because I'm like, "I don't wanna be responsible for." I
Yep.
mean, I wouldn't be responsible, but I would have felt responsible.
Yeah. This is why
Yeah.
I am going to be so excited once we have automated cars that just drive
Mm,
us wherever we need to go because that was my favorite thing in New York City was being on a train and being able
mm,
to take that commute time and do whatever I wanted to do with it because
mhm,
somebody else was driving. And so that was fantastic. And now like if you have to be driving, gosh, it just requires so much energy to not get distracted. By the time wherever I'm at where I need to go, I'm usually exhausted by that point because there's so much stimulus and so much going on. And the longer the commute is, the harder it is. And
it's a lot.
yeah.
And so the car, I'm curious in our community if like messy cars are kind of a thing or issues around cars and driving are an issue for others because it would seem like between all the tasks you have to do to clean the car
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the attention and energy you have to getting to wherever you're going and all the potential distractions along the way, it would be exhausting.
Yeah, it's incredibly exhausting. Plus, by the time you get to your appointment,
Mhm.
now you're on that train of thought. You get back from the appointment, and whatever happened in that meeting, appointment, wherever you were at, errand, now you have all of that stimulus and all of that narrative in your head that you're not necessarily thinking. I'm not thinking about the car anymore. And it's not until I'm getting like literally walking out of the car, I'm like, oh, right, that's right, it's dirty. And by that point, I've already just started closing my door. It's like, if I can't see it, does it exist? I don't know.
If an ADHD person has a messy car and shuts the door.
If a mess occurs in an ADHD car, did it really happen? Who's that? Is it like is it Pavlov's cat? No, who's the cat? No, it's like Schrodinger's cat.
Oh, yes.
If there's a cat, it's a dead cat, like is it dead or alive? You don't know. And so it's both. Is it messy or not messy? Well, it could be both.
It could be both.
You can't see in except for the windows.
That's amazing. You've like just gone quantum with your car. It's like it's two things at once, two places at once.
I'm awesome.
How
what
funny.
Can I say?
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Well, I'm curious to know if anyone in our community has strategies around cars. And I love yours with the slap bracelet to put it around the steering wheel to attend.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Is there anything else? I like the towel idea as well. I would use that too, just because it's annoying. Sometimes it's hard to see. You know, one of the things that mom now has are like big giant sunglasses for her car.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yeah, we got those in Carpinteria.
So great.
And she can put her glasses over her regular glasses.
No, that's true too. But no, I'm talking about on her visor.
Oh,
She pulls down her visor and it's got like a little sunglasses.
It's got like a tint to it that you can pull down further. Yeah.
But I keep thinking of her car, like if you were looking at it from another side, it would look like it had eyelashes or something with sunglasses.
One of the things that I think it should come standard in all cars now, but is the eyesight or the sight. It's like there's like little blinkers on my Subaru that tell me if there's somebody in the right-hand lane or in the left-hand lane, or there's some automation that I specifically got for a lot of my health issues, and sometimes I can't turn my neck or whatever, and so like it helps me to be able to just to know that I have that backup. But I will say for my ADHD, it helps me to know that I have that backup. Knowing a backup camera, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then it will beep at me if there's anything coming on either side. So, those kinds of things have been really helpful for me. I really liked those. And I got my car pre-COVID, so it was a much better deal.
But if you can afford to, having some of those safety features can help out. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's cool. I wonder too if in the process of driving, if other people can describe for us what they're thinking about or not thinking about and what that's like for them. Because I think that's interesting in terms of various brains and how they process that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be curious to know, because again, it's one more thing. It's like, please help me. What do you guys do? It's so challenging and it's so exhausting.
Yeah, to keep it clean, to keep it moving, to get from point A to point B and back.
Well, and I think that we've decided that me not keeping it clean is a safety measure. So,
and I think we're going to stick with that one.
Yeah. So if you come into my car, I'm really taking very good care of you by not cleaning it.
So no judgment.
Right. No judgment.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thanks for talking to me too.
Love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Sisters. This series has us focusing more specifically on ADHD and all of its symptoms. If you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoy laughing with each other, please share it with someone you think would benefit from this conversation. Make sure to follow us on whatever platform you're currently listening to so that you can get notified each week, because next week we will be talking about ADHD and how it affects my energy levels. We will find out once and for all if I am part of the Borg Collective. But until then, here's to a great end of the week, and remember, stay curious.
Do you remember that one with Roxanne? Steve Martin. These aliens, they came over to Roxanne's house.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, that's good. You're like, what?
Like they did. Oh yeah, the aliens.
Oh, yeah.